The House will come to order. Today's Pledge of Allegiance is by Madison Pachan, Sophia Willemark, and they're both from Still Elementary in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and they are guests of Representative Herod.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Representatives Arndt.
Excuse.
Becker J. Becker K. K. Becker.
Excuse.
Beckman. Benavides. Bridges. Buck. Buckner. Carver. Representative Carver. Representative Arndt is present. Catlin. Coleman. Covarrubias. Danielson. Escar. Everett. Everett.
Excused.
Exum. Foot. Garnett. Janal. Gray. Hamner. Hanson. Herod. Representative Kay Becker is present. Hooten. Humphrey. Jackson. Kennedy. Crabtharp. Landgraf. Landgraf.
Excused.
Lawrence. Lawrence.
Excused.
Lee. Leonard. Lewis. Liston. Liston. Lontine. Lundeen. McKean. McLaughlin. Melton. Melton. Michelson Janae. Neville. Pabon. Pedersen. Pedersen. Is she filling up water? Talking to that person by the door? Counter? Rankin. Ransom. Ryer. Roberts. Rosenthal. Rosenthal.
Representative Rosenthal is excused.
Sane. Salazar. Sandridge.
Presente.
Sias. Singer. Thurlow. Valdez. Van Winkle. Weissman. Willett. Excused. Representative Lawrence is present. Williams. Wilson. Winter. Wist. Young. Madam Speaker.
Here.
Representative Rosenthal is present.
With 61 present, 3 excused, and 1 vacancy, we do have a quorum. Would someone like to approve the journal? Representative Harrod.
Friday, March 9th.
I move that the journal from Friday, March 9th
Approved as corrected by the chief.
be approved as corrected by the chief clerk.
Hold on, say that again.
Representative Harrod. Good morning.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the reading of the Journal of Friday, March 9th, 2018 be dispensed with and approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
All right, members, you have heard the motion. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying no. Goodness gracious. That motion passes. Announcements and introductions. Any announcements or introductions this morning?
So just, I don't know that.
Who would like to do the first announcement? Representative Buck. And somebody else? And Representative Buckner. Representative Buck and Representative Buckner. Good morning.
Good morning. You want to start?
Sure. I will try to start with this without getting sappy and teary-eyed. But I want to welcome the Chronic Disease Caucus today. When I look at these incredible beads, I look at my family and I have attachments to all of these beads. So I encourage you to get the same visual over there in the Supreme Court today. We're talking MS, lymphoma, rheumatoid arthritis, Alzheimer's, colitis, hearing impaired. Folks, this is a great way to tell all of us legislators that we have issues that we need to try to take care of. So thank you for listening, and turn it over to my cohort, Representative Buckner.
Representative Buckner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am so excited to present this wonderful group of people to the Assembly floor with Representative Buck. And you see, I don't have as many colors as Representative Buck. I think my genetics have been a little bit better. But this is an amazing group of people who are advocating today. So please reach out and meet them. And if you could stand, please, if you're with the CCC today, over here on the right, let's give them a hand. Oh, and on the left. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and welcome to the General Assembly. Any further announcements or introductions? Any announcements or introductions? Wow. Oh, Representative Wilson has one. Good morning. And Representative Barnes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. All right, listen up, everybody. Do you have this on your desk about the Thursday caucus for the Sportsman's Caucus? We're going to have a very important hot dog announcement. We've had to move the food out of the committee room, and that puts it in the hallway. The hot dogs are for the people attending the caucus, although if we have leftovers, we're happy to share them. But the important point is you should be attending the Sportsman's Caucus because we have a big bill coming through this year for Colorado Parks and Wildlife on the fee increase for hunting and fishing licenses.
Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I'm here to back up what Representative Arndt said with 240 hot dogs, which I have in the back of my truck. Thank you.
Can't come if you don't eat.
Further announcements or introductions? Representative Barnes.
Thank you. Just a reminder, Ag, Livestock and Natural Resources Committee, 1:30. In room 107, last week we met in a different room, so just reminder, it's in our regular meeting room, and we'll be hearing 3 bills today, including Senate Bill 2. So please be on time. We'll start right away.
All right, further announcements or introductions. Representative Ransom and Representative Singer, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, we would like to invite you to lunch today at noon. The Colorado Children's Caucus is meeting upstairs, Senate Committee Room 357. We will have 2 presentations plus a really good lunch. The one is from the Bell Policy Center. They will be telling us about the cliff effect.
And Madam Speaker, if that wasn't exciting enough, we're pretty excited about also hearing about the 2-generation prevention strategy with Bill Jager from the Colorado Children's Campaign. We're certainly looking forward to hearing from him as well and making sure that everybody, once they've run downstairs to the Sportsman's Caucus, can always run upstairs and listen to kids as well.
All right, thank you so much. Further announcements or introductions? Further announcements or introductions? Going once, going twice. I'm going to have to find myself, but I do want to welcome to the Capitol Terry and Jennifer Martinez and Claire March. They work for Katie March, or they work. Katie March works for me, and they are her family. So thank you and welcome to the Capitol. And I will find myself $5. Further announcements or introductions? Seeing no further announcements or introductions, that takes us to general order, second reading of bills. Representative Exum, good morning. All right, members, you have heard the motion. Seeing no objection, Representative Exum will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there's a request for the bill be read at length. Committee amendments will not be read unless requested, as they are printed in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and on your iPads and not read unless requested. Bills will be laid over upon the motion of the majority leader, and the court rule is relaxed. Oh, okay. Thank you. Mr. Connor, will you please read the title to House Bill 1154?
House Bill 1154, Representative Hooten and Van Winkle, Senator John concerning consumer protections related to solicitation, provide a copy of a public record for a fee.
Representative Hooten.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I move House Bill 1154 and the Finance Committee report. I also move Amendment L003, which is an amendment to the Finance Committee report.
To the Finance Committee report. Representative Hooten.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Amendment L003 narrows the scope of the bill to focus on the intended goal, which is deed
Hold on,
and deeds of
Representative
trust
Hooten.
and county clerk's office.
Representative Hooten, let's. Oh, it's displayed. I'm sorry. I'm behind you. The amendment has been properly moved and displayed. Please proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Amendment L003 narrows the scope of the bill to focus on the intended goal, which is deed and deeds of trust in county clerk's offices. It changes the broad term of public record to the specific deed or deed of trust. It removes state agencies since they do not have custody of these records. And finally, it emphasizes records that are deed or deeds of trust from the county clerk and records that have custody of the deed or deed of trust.
Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just ask for a yes vote. This is a very good amendment.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on Amendment L003 to the Finance Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L003. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Amendment L003 is adopted. To the Finance Committee report,
Do it
Representative
for the finance report.
Representative Hooten.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. There were several minor amendments passed in committee, and they include clarification that the bill does not include any medical records. They removed title company exemptions, which was supported by the Land Title Association, and minor technical changes recommended by the Attorney General's office.
Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And much of that report is what we just amended into it. So I ask for a yes vote on the report.
Okay, thank you both. Is there any further discussion on the Finance Committee report to House Bill 1154? Representative Pabon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I apologize. I did not hear your. So tell me what the Finance Committee report does now that we added this amendment. It did come to the Finance Committee. We did have a good discussion. I just want to make sure I understand what this does.
Representative Hooten.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Representative Pabon, are you making reference to the amendment we did in Finance?
What does the Finance Committee report do now that it's been amended?
What it does is it tightens up the scope of the bill so that now the bill just specifically addresses deed and deeds of trust and no other public records.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the Finance Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the Finance Committee report to House Bill 1154. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. The Finance Committee report is adopted. To the bill. Representative Hooten.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill is simply including a new addition to the Colorado Consumer Protection Act to safeguard citizens. The county clerk and recorders and district attorneys have received questions and complaints from constituents that are receiving predatory mailings regarding their deeds. The letters have in big bold letters at the top, local records office or deed processing notice, and a list of compliance response date, leading to confusion among property owners and a belief that they are required to comply with the letter. In one example, the solicitation asks for a fee of $83 to receive a copy of a record that can be obtained to the clerk's office from the clerk's office for 50 cents to $1.50. Several other states have passed similar legislation. This bill was modeled after Wisconsin's bill.
Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My thanks to Representative Hooten for her hard work on this bill. I would just remind the body that these records, they belong to the taxpayers. The taxpayers own them, so it is not right or just that they are being scammed out of lots of their money in order to obtain those records. And these mailings, they look just like they're from your local government, and folks are being scammed out of their own property. So I urge a yes vote.
Thank you both. Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1154? Representative Pabon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I just want to commend the sponsors for their excellent work on this bill. I think this is a good consumer protection bill. The narrowing of the bill only gives that much more credence that this is about deeds and deeds of trust. These are public documents. We shouldn't be jacking up prices to give people what they should have in just the due course of business for a relatively modest fee. So thank you, sponsors, for bringing this bill. I rise in strong support of House Bill 1154.
Thank you, Representative Pabon. Is there any further discussion on this nice bipartisan Bill 1154? Seeing none, all those in favor of 1154 say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. 1154 is adopted. Mr. Connor, please read the title to House Bill 1242.
House Bill 1242, Representative Becker K. and Valdez, House Senate Crowder, concerning the salary categorization of locally elected officers in specified counties.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1242. There is no committee report.
To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1242 is similar to other bills that have been run in the last few years at the request of counties to adjust their county salaries. Representative Valdez and I both represent counties who a couple years ago, when the omnibus county salary bill was passed, were not ready to make those changes. They have since asked to move the subcategories that they're included in so that they can adjust their salaries now that their own economies and their own county budgets have changed. I ask for an aye vote.
Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And absolutely, like as Majority Leader Becker was saying, the counties in our districts are asking for the increase in subcategories for the increase of their raises, and we ask for an aye vote.
Okay, thank you both. Any further discussion? Representative Pabon.
Oh, no.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this bill was before the House Finance Committee. The sponsors did made a very good case for why these categorizations need to change. Economics are better in many of these counties, and this seems like a good true up for the rest of our county commissioners. So ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Representative Pabon. Representative Valdez.
It's a good bill, and we ask for an aye vote on House Bill 1242.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1242? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1242. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Thank you. 1242 is adopted. I'm sorry. Mr. Connor, please read the title to House Bill 1240.
House Bill 1240, Representatives Bridges and Becker J. House Senator Cook, concerning continuation grant program to prevent motor vehicle theft in connection with implementing the sunset review recommendations of the Department of Regulatory Agencies.
Thank you, sir. Representative Becker K. or Becker J.
Okay. Either one works anymore, Mr. Chair.
Right.
Thank you. I move House Bill 1240.
To the bill. Representative Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill reauthorizes the Automobile Theft Prevention Authority and Board. Colorado's Auto Theft Prevention Board is recognized nationally as a flagship program for auto theft prevention, thanks in large part to programs they've implemented like a statewide information exchange and equipment like license plate scanners. Colorado has one of the highest vehicle recovery rates in the nation at 90%. The national average is only 60%. This low rate here in our state directly affects Coloradans' pocketbooks by lowering our car insurance premiums. This board is a national leader in auto theft prevention. It helps keep insurance rates lower than they would otherwise be, and most importantly, it keeps Coloradans safe. I ask for your support of this bill.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1240? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1240. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. House Bill 1240 is adopted. Mr. Connor, please read the title to Senate Bill 28.
Senate Bill 28 by Senator Scott, House of Representative Bridges, concerning the repeal of certain requirements for where a license plate is mounted on a motor vehicle.
Representative Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 28.
To the bill.
Thank you. Right now, Colorado is the only state in the union that has a law requiring the front license plate to be located in the center of the vehicle. Automakers today are adding sophisticated crash avoidance technologies to new models of cars and trucks, and these sensors need to be located, many of them need to be located right in the center of the vehicle to optimize vehicle safety, while at the same time not interfering with air movement for engine and cabin cooling. We need to give automakers that flexibility to move the front plate along that row in the front. This will make cars safer, it will make pedestrians safer, and it gives auto manufacturers much needed flexibility to make sure that Colorado has access to the same great vehicle safety technology they have in other states.
Thank you. Any further discussion on Senate Bill 28?
It's good.
Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 28. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Senate Bill 28 is passed.
You're welcome.
System Majority Leader, Representative Garnett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Great job today. I move the committee rise and report.
Thank you very much. On the motion of the Assistant Majority Leader, committee will rise and report.
The House will come to order. Mr. Randall, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker, your committee of the whole begins lead report as on consideration following touch bills, making the subject and there makes following recommendations thereon. House Bill 1154 is amended. House Bill 1240, House Bill 1242 passes second reading and goes to place counter for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 28 passes second reading and revised place counter for third reading and final passage.
Representative Exum. All right, members, you have heard the motion. There are no amendments at the desk. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Covarrubias, Representative Humphrey, Representative Lewis, McKean, Pedersen, Rosenthal, Sandridge. Please vote. Representative Rosenthal. Please close the machine. With 61 yes votes, 2 no votes, 1 excuse, and 1 vacancy, the report of the Committee of the Whole is adopted. Announcements and introductions. Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Public Health Care and Human Services Committee, thank you for your work on Friday. We will not be meeting on another Friday, but Tuesday, be ready for our opioid bills. Be ready to be there on time. In addition to that, we'll have 2 bills up for action only, 1104, which you've heard once before, as well as 1177, which you have also heard once before. But committee, just consider yourselves notified. See you there at 1:30.
Further announcements or introductions? Representative Liston.
Madam Speaker, thank you. Madam Speaker, you'll be pleased to know I don't have any economic news today, but Madam Speaker, I do request to be excused this Thursday afternoon and Friday all day. I will be representing Colorado at the commissioning ceremony of the USS Colorado, and I have the approval of the minority leader and the majority leader.
Representative Liston, you are excused. Further announcements or introductions? Any further announcements or introductions? Seeing none, Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House stand in recess till 1 o'clock today.
All right, members, you have heard the motion. Seeing no objection, the House will stand in recess until later today.